Hi guys, so today I'm doing a review on the modern classic Metro Exodus, the third game in the series by Dmitry Glukovsky. It is a very good and fun game to play. I have to say, one of the strong points of the Metro series is that the graphics and the atmosphere, and this delivers on both. It certainly is a visually good-looking game, and the atmosphere, especially when you're going through these broken towns and there's countless corpses of people living in these really tough conditions, and it just builds, the whole world is built really nice and fun, very engrossing, I find. So visuals and atmosphere are always as strong with this series, and this edition is no different. If we're talking about the combat, I really liked it. The weapons are much more modifiable than in previous Metro games, which is sort of to be expected, I guess. Most modern games now you can modify your weapons, and this one's no different. I don't think the mods are necessarily more or less extensive, but the access to them is easier because there is a workshop table system where you can build stuff yourself quickly in the field. As with all Metro games, you are wise to preserve your ammo. As you can see on the screen here, there is a sea monster somewhere in there. You can see him floating about. I left him alone because, as fun as it would be to take him down, and I'd probably get an achievement for it, I only have, like, at this stage, I probably only have 5 to 10 bullets in that gun, so that is pretty much the case most of the way through, barring 1 or 2 levels where they actually give you a lot more ammo so that you can have a more aggressive approach. So one of the important things in all Metro games is the AI, which has always had a good variety. Variety is the spice of life, as they say, and in this they've invented certainly like some more creatures that I don't remember seeing from the first games, but there's no shortage of human and radioactive beast opponents. Most of the missions where you're against human bandits or otherwise involve infiltrating their base, which again is much like the old Metro. You can do this stealthily, but sometimes it's very difficult not to get seen, so usually your cover will be blown at some point, in which case the game can get very, very hard. I played on hardcore, and I'm trying Ranger hardcore as I make this review. I completed the game on hardcore, and I have to say, I don't know about the lower difficulties, but on hardcore the enemies can kill you in one shot. Generally they aren't as good as people. If you're playing someone online, they're not as good as that, but on occasion they can be. I mean, I've had snapshots from out of nowhere take me down. So this game's not particularly easy. You're going to have to load a lot. So the AI is very interesting. The enemies are pretty smart generally. Like, they do have interesting ways, like tactics. A lot of the human opponents are kind of like special forces. They move from cover to cover very quick and efficient. They move fast so that you don't have much time to prepare, and when you've taken out an area, when you've taken out a lot of people in one area, you'll often find that the remaining soldiers surrender, which is a small thing, but it's always nice to have something like that because it is kind of realistic. Not that the game really needs depth. That's always been a strong point. The visuals, the atmosphere, it's all been done painstakingly. So there is a sandbox mode on this game, basically, where in between the usual format of like bunkers and underground tunnel metros, there are three big maps that you can play with in the game. Obviously, it's still fairly linear because there is a set mission that you have to stick to and have to return to eventually. However, you can enjoy all these side quests. There's many little side quests, little gunfights you can have on each of these three main sandbox maps, and I would advise doing that because the game actually isn't that long. I'd say this is the smallest Metro game in the series. It ends surprisingly early, a little bit early, but not hugely. There's plenty there to get your teeth into. I think it just lacks a little from the other two, but correct me if I'm wrong. But the ending for me was a little bit abrupt. And there seems to be less boss battles. I remember in the old Metro game there were plenty of boss battles. In this you do fight a couple. They've got the bear, the mutated bear, which is a really tough character. And you have blind ones, which are these sort of Yeti type creatures that you've seen in the other games. But really, as far as boss battle goes, it's lacking, and just content and size of the game, definitely a little bit short. And I wonder if the developers had problems with money when making the game or something, because it feels like it has been cut a tiny bit short. But to be honest, it's a minor thing. You'll still enjoy it, no problem, and there is DLC to play, and you can always replay it because it's always good to try and complete the game on Ranger mode, which is a bit like the Max Payne New York Minute mode. It's very difficult and a challenge you can aim to achieve. So overall, I think this is a strong Metro game, welcome addition to the series. I wouldn't say they're reinventing the wheel. I would say a lot of the stuff on this is very similar to the other games. However, the weapon variety and the animation and graphics make combat that much more fun on this version. You know, when you get that hit marker up from a long distance shot, it's really satisfying. And yeah, so it really is, it's better as it should be than the older games, because obviously we moved on since there, but it just isn't really reinventing the wheel. It's similar format to the others, and actually I found myself wanting a little bit more of the Metro sections. It's nice that in this game you get to go outdoors and they discover areas where you can wander around and there's actually some vegetation and things, but the atmospheric alien film type claustrophobic corridors full of these demonic creatures is something that is definitely a strong point with the series. Could have seen a bit more of that in this version. So anyway, yeah, I think it's a very good game. I'm a big shooting fan, and I'm actually very good at shooters because I played them a lot. I play COD online a lot. So if you're not so much into shooters, it might not be your thing, but otherwise, with that and with the free roam elements as well, I'd have to give this game, I would want to give it a 9, but I think we'll give it an 8.5. I think that's about right. So 8.5, and a really fun game. You can probably pick it up cheap now. I think it was made in 2019. So the story as well, I should just mention the story is good as well, but I'm not going to give it away. But there are significant events in the story. So cheers guys, and happy gaming.